Welcome to Divorce Diary Show podcast. My name is Michelle Traina. I am the creator of Divorce Diaries. It is the second week of January, and I am coming live from my bedroom. I still have a pulled neck muscle, slash, I just feel like I'm old, even though I'm not old, Cheers to a new week, although it's the middle of the week when I'm recording this. So I want to get started with feeling overwhelmed by new year, new resolutions, things you got to get organized. I mean, I'm feeling overwhelmed because I want to take the next step in creating my business, that will go to the next level. Does that make sense? And I recently was like, listened to somebody who told me how to rearrange my YouTube, just kind of giving helpful feedback. And I don't know if I really should have taken it. It definitely confused me a little bit. I think sometimes I'm quick to jump to listen to people who have more of a following, or I guess that's what kind of happened. And then like I regretted it because I feel like I don't know what the person's motive was, to be honest with you. He might just like the content, but also and wanting to help somebody. But I also felt a little weirded out because not weirded out, annoyed at myself because I listen too quickly sometimes to people. And sometimes and I also sometimes get defensive and reactive, and point blank, I thought this guy was going to have me on his show, on his YouTube channel, and he has a decent following where I was like, this is great. Because a lot of us who are trying to work on our brands and build and expand, if you have a big following and you invite me on your show, people are going to hear more about me. And then that collaboration will help my business. And hopefully my content, my humor, my personality will generate an more for your show as well. That was my outlook. Then the guy was like, how about we do it on my TikTok? I was like, what? Because he didn't feel like I fit into his brand, which is fine. Understandable. But it like struck a nerve in me, and I like wanted to kind of lay into him. I sort of did, and then I got off the phone and I was like, why the fuck have I been talking to you on the phone? I don't know you. That's my own fault, because sometimes you have to just take that next step when you want to be on someone's show and talk with them on the phone. I don't think this guy means harm, but like I definitely was frustrated because he wanted to move me, downgrade me from his YouTube channel to his TikTok, where he doesn't have a huge following. Not that that matters. I don't really have a huge following either. I have like 16,000 on TikTok, which, to be honest with you, for the amount of times I post, is small. And that's frustrating because I work at things every day. And then sometimes I'm like, maybe I'm just hitting a roadblock. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. And then I get frustrated. So I kind of got off the phone with him and I was like, this is not working out. And I was mad at myself. Then I started thinking, what he's gonna think that I'm like this self-righteous, I have more followers on TikTok than you do. Why are you pushing me down? And that's not it. It's not an ego thing. I felt slighted because I was like, if you like me and you like my show, right? If you like my show, which means you like me and my content, who gives a fuck? You want to have me on or you don't? And if I don't fit into your brand, then don't talk to me. Do you see what I'm saying? I and that's where I fucking was losing it, because I feel like in other areas of my life, not just in business, there's people that take advantage of me because of what I bring to the table. And I'm going to not talk about comedy for a second. I'm talking about as a teacher. As a teacher, there's a school I was teaching classes to, not in my former school district, that I love this school. It's just they're not paying me enough an hour to take time out of my weekend, to take time away from my daughter, to do something that's my fallback, that although I do enjoy doing, I don't want to do as much of anymore. I like teaching, but performing, in any, being creative is my go-to. I do know I'll always be teaching because it's what people need. People need good teachers. I am really good with helping young people through the arts, especially those with special needs and those who don't have special needs but process differently. I mean, we all have special needs, let's be honest. So I have to break it off with teaching these classes, and this is still in kind of limbo right now because I agreed to do it and then now I'm backtracking. So I'm having anxiety about that. This guy was taking me off of his YouTube interview, whatever, downgrading me. And I guess some people would say, how do you look at it as downgrading? Any exposure is good exposure. I think in the back of my head, I don't know why this guy wants to have me on. And I also don't want to waste time with things I'm unsure about. And this is where I get overwhelmed and confused. Like, some people, when I've said, please reach out to my manager, get offended because they think it's like, oh, you're too good to talk to me. No, it's because I don't have the energy to understand right now what you want from me. And it's clear and cut if it goes through my manager, because he's going to weed out things that are good or bad for me. And same thing with my producer. It's too much sometimes. It's like, I can be really nice and open and helpful to people, but then if you're coming to me and I'm not understanding what it is you really want, and then I also feel like there's something else going on with the motive of why you want to talk to me, then I start to get annoyed. I'm not saying this guy, I'm just saying in general. And I also feel like I've been taken advantage of in the past with money. I feel like I haven't been paid enough. And then when I have been paid enough, that doesn't happen as consistently. Um, for both teaching and performing. And then when I raise my prices for my theater company, I have clients that are like, oh, why is it so much money? And then I'll break it down for them and be like, because this is the service I'm giving you. And it costs, there's money involved for driving to the event, props and set pieces. And, you know, I used to have liability, or well, I have liability insurance, but that's another added amount of money. And during the pandemic, I got rid of it because we were just doing virtual. So it's all these things that add up. And then along the way, when I'm losing track of what it is I just really want to do, which is perform. And when I agreed to taking on these classes, I was nervous because January is such a slow month because everybody is like broke from the holidays, and like it just becomes a slow month. And then my courses that I teach at a college, they are still on winter break till the end of January. So last week I was a little overwhelmed with a lot of things, and I kind of like bit off this guy's head when he downgraded me to his TikTok. I know you got to look at it like the glass is half full, but I also was like getting a little confused about a lot of things. And I was like, maybe we just need to pause on this. I want to be a part of, I want to do collaborations with people who I like their work and they like mine, regardless of followers and views. And I think I have a tendency not to say no because I want to take all work that comes my way, all interviews. And recently I've been getting a lot of people that say, hey, can I have my, you know, I've had a couple of people ask me to be on my podcast, which is so freaking awesome. And I've reached out to a few people. And now I'm like, I'm planning on reshaping this so that I get more people here to stay. Because I feel like they lose a little bit of their attention span throughout this podcast. And I don't want that. I want you to keep staying. So I am a little all over the place with trying to figure out what to do next. And the main important thing is to make it as entertaining as possible and informative. Look, I left my teaching job 3 years ago, right before the pandemic. And I was scared and nervous because I was like, how am I going to do this? I'm going to go back to acting with a kid as a single mom, lose my health insurance, pay for my, well, not lose it, pay for my health insurance out of pocket. Thankfully, my ex-husband's like took my daughter on his plan. How am I going to make this work? It worked. I put seeds into the ground years ago that started to blossom. The college that I went to my undergrad, I helped create a program there that I'm now teaching for. Like, I put the seed in. I went to this professor, she's a department chair, and I said, could we do this program here? And she's like, we'd have to do this, this, and this. I'm like, I'm there with you if you want to do it with me. And she's like, yeah. And we did it. And then I left when I was getting divorced, or was pregnant. I think I left because I couldn't adjunct and teach full time. It was a lot. Then when the pandemic happened and all my work turned virtual and it was less money, somehow she reached out to me and she's like, hey, we lost our adjunct. Do you want to come back and teach? I was like, hell to the yeah. And this is the best part. It's all online now. So the seed that I planted years ago came back. And I mean, I know that if I taught online courses under my own brand, that's what I would teach, is like how to keep planting these seeds. Am I a millionaire? No. Am I working for myself? Yes. Am I growing two businesses at the same time while trying to be a single parent? Yes. Do I have tactics for that? Yes. Am I also a hot mess? Yes. This is what the course is. My nose is itchy. Sorry. I don't know. I don't want to be out there pretending like, oh, I'm better than your TikTok. I'm for your, like, I don't want to do that. But this guy really upset me because I was like, you wanted me to be on your show, which is really on your YouTube channel. And now you're downgrading me. And I just was like, I don't know you. I don't want to do this. This is uncomfortable. And I stupidly listened to him taking off all of my playlists on my YouTube channel. I shouldn't say stupidly. He may have it right. His YouTube channel's working. But and now I'm getting a little bit of hate on some. I noticed, well, there's a lot of hate on YouTube, whatever. I noticed some people who follow him or following me are like writing me nasty comments, which is interesting. It is what it is. I don't, I, I, I want people to want me on their show because they think I'm funny and they think I'm going to contribute something positive to their channel regardless. So, hey, if he didn't, think he didn't think that. Moving on though to what's happening next with Divorce Diaries is the live show is going to be at Morris Plains, New Jersey this Saturday. And I was handing out flyers again. No, and actually, yeah, no, I went to small businesses and handed out flyers. And why? Because that's another marketing strategy. And also, I don't have the money to spend hundreds of dollars on ads. I'm going to put out an ad today for $40. We'll see if that brings anything in. But I know that there's some reshaping I have to do to get to the next level because practicing is working. All of the different marketing strategies are organically working. But I listen to Ed Milet a lot. I've told you guys this, and there's an episode out right now with Amy Porterfield, who used to work for Tony Robbins, and how she's just branched out into her own thing. And it's called How to Have a Life You Don't Need a Vacation From. Shout out to Ed Milet and Amy Porterfield. And I want to get her book. She's giving you tactics of how to grow your email list, which is one tactic I need to work on. And also how she built these online courses for her business that really took off. And here I am teaching online courses for a university. And they're making the money. I mean, I'm making money, but they're making the money from tuition because they're an accredited university. But there are people out there that make money from their online courses. I would love to do that because then that just generates more income for you and into my show, which we're looking for an investor. And it's like, I want to be able to not so much grow fast, but I want to be able to plant the right seeds, right? So that it's not going to be a dead flower. And I think you do have to plant a couple of seeds in order for one of them to grow, right? So that's what I'm working on next. And I keep telling myself one thing at a time with the ADHD, focus on one thing at a time, get it done, and then come back and reassess. So I'm focusing on Saturday's show. I'm trying not to focus too much on men and dating, as the New Year's Eve got me into a little twist about the last guy I was talking to months ago, who now I think blocked me on WhatsApp too. I'm sure he hates me because I do material about, I've talked about him a lot on the podcast. I don't know if he's listened at this point or not. I have a feeling he's had to have listened to some of it if he has me blocked on Facebook and blocked on WhatsApp, although I did start the blocking. I had a dream about him again, and it was upsetting because I was like, I wish I could talk to him, but I also don't want to talk to him because if he's in a new relationship, which he seems like the kind of guy that does serial date, even though he said he didn't, but I feel like he does. I don't, if he's seeing somebody, then it's like, oh, I look even more pathetic. There was a really sweet guy that came up. Oh, Saturday's show. I headlined a show on Saturday. And the audience really seemed to respond well to me. I was really excited. I might try to play a clip from it before the episode airs. So if you're hearing this and you've already listened to it, then great. It went really good. And it made me feel again like I felt New Year's Eve, where it's like this hard work is paying off. Working at my craft daily, whether it's in my kitchen, talking on TikTok to you, podcast, writing, going to an open mic, is helping. I've talked about being a comic and not having time to go into New York City, which is 11 miles away. Well, I went into New York City last week for an audition, went well. I couldn't stay for the callback because my daughter had gymnastics. I have not heard from them since. So, I had to make a decision. And same thing with the open mics in New York City. I have to make a decision. I can't do them right now because I am literally here for my kid. And babysitting is not in the budget. I definitely do have to work something out because I do need to get into New York more to do more stage time in New York City. So again, that's on the to-do list. If you're a comedian, if you're a business owner and you have a formula that works for you, please send me an email, divorcediaryshow@gmail.com. I'd love to hear your story. I'd love to have you on the podcast. And let's see what's going to happen next. I have a show on Saturday night. I have people coming. I hope they come in all sorts of ways. um, I do hope the last guy in some miracle reaches out to me and says he doesn't hate me. Yes, that's never going to happen because he probably won't is not listening to this anymore. I was thinking of texting him and saying, "Hey, do you hate me?" I don't think I should, but I'm probably going to. And let me know what your thoughts are of would you take a comedy writing class with me? And look, I am not Amy Schumer. I'm working towards being someone like her, Jessica Kirson, who I love Jessica Kirson. Actually, I love Jessica Kirson and shout out, I love Amy, but Jessica Kirson is like one of the best female comedians I have ever seen. So I would love to be her. I want to be the Michelle Trina, Jessica Kirson. Does that make sense? Because I can't be her. Like there's only one her. I want to be that par, right? So, and in leaving with this, I hope that this year brings more abundance of quality craft building, money, money in what helps. And I say this not in a greedy way because we all want to make more money, right? I want to make more money doing what I love and really impacting people where they say, wow, that was really worth my fucking money. I hope that's very clear. I want to make more money doing what I love and more importantly, impacting people in a way where they say, hey, I am so glad I spent money on that fucking show. I am so glad I spent money on her course because I am now here because of it. I am now up here because of it. I feel this way because of it. Or, I just finished writing a pilot for a group of women as a freelance writer. So, or, you hire me for a writer, whatever the creative might be. I really hope that I can expand and be more abundant in that way. So not only to make more money, but to impact more people and they want to keep coming back. I'm the product. I want you to keep coming back. Like Bustelo. I want to be the human version of Cafe Bustelo. I want you to say, no matter what else comes in front, no matter what other coffee brand people bring me, especially my brother brought me this special coffee brand for 9 months. He had to like order it away. Bustelo still is better than that brand. Okay. I want to be the Bustelo of your life as a comedian, as a writer, as a teacher. So that's the goal for this week, this year. Yeah. Okay, guys, stay tuned for more Happily Divorced After. I'm Michelle Trina. This is Divorce Diary Show. Tune in on all platforms, everywhere you have anything that you have on your computer or your phone. I'm a part of it. Michelle Trina, Divorce Diaries. Find me, like it, love, subscribe, come see a show. We'll have some coffee and talk. Bye, guys.